Dress Up Mom! Hello my friends, and thank you so much for watching my video. Today I'm going to give you my tips for reselling clothes. But first, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you are one of my regular viewers and subscribers, I absolutely love you. Thank you so much. If you are new to the channel and you like what you're seeing, please subscribe. It's the button. It's just here, free. It means the world to me. We are also on all the social media outlets, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at The Dress Up Mom, hashtag The Dress Up Mom, and you can check us out there too. I have been recycling, reselling, donating my clothes for a very long time now, decades, I would say. And I have some tips that I've come across that I hope are helpful to you. First off, I want to say that I go through my closet every 3 months religiously. And I definitely look at each article and see if it's still bringing me joy. I do subscribe to the Marie Kondo method. I've been condoing big time, even more so now after watching her show on Netflix, and it's gotten me even more sort of excited about this, something I've been doing for a long time already. But I really do think that's important. It doesn't take very long to do, but I go through and I really recycle out what is no longer serving me for whatever reason. I give it gratitude and then I'm ready to let it go. I love to think that somebody else might be able to get some joy out of this same article of clothing or shoes or whatever, because I usually love everything that I buy. What happens is when I do that, and I'm showing you here, I recently went through and did a big clean out of my closet. And these are all the things that I found that I've loved in the past, but for whatever reason right now, they're just not bringing me the joy and not something that I want to keep in my life. And again, hoping somebody else can use it. Now, what I usually do is I figure out what is resellable, if you will, and then what I'm just going to donate somewhere. I never throw this stuff away because I really do think most people can use things, and I have nice things. I normally don't have huge high-end labels that I sell. Sometimes I do. If I do that, I will take them to maybe a designer consignment place or something, or they'll stay there, and if they sell, I get a percentage. There's My Sister's Closet, which is a little lower-end designer, but there's also higher-end designers, and I might do this. There are also places that I go, and I'm going to take you today to one of them called Flashbacks, which buys your clothes for cash. The things that I'm wanting to sell today or that I found in my closet, I think are a little bit more fun, funky, some are vintage, and I think that they will go well at Flashbacks. So that's where I'm taking those today. So that's tip number 1. Know your resale places around town and what they specialize in and what they're looking for. Secondly, seasonal. They're looking usually for seasonal items, so that if it's the winter, they're wanting to buy winter and maybe a little bit into spring. If it's something truly special at a place like Flashbacks, they will take it. If it isn't seasonal, sometimes they'll tell you to come back. So seasonal, know that you're going to be selling things that they can get on the shelf and sell pretty quickly. Also, don't expect to get a ton of money. You might have paid a ton of money for these things, but they're not going to sell for anywhere near that. Usually you will get half of whatever the store is going to sell it at. So don't expect, unless you have something like magnificent that you might want to sell on eBay or on your own, don't expect to make a ton of money. It's a nice little bonus, might be able to get you something small or some new article of clothing that you really like, but in my experience, it hasn't been like, whoa, all this money. In the beginning, I thought it maybe would. Another thing, I know people feel a little bit of anxiety around this in the beginning because you're kind of embarrassed maybe if your things don't sell, or you think that the person that's looking through it might be judging it. Maybe they do a little, but in my experience, that's not the case at all. This is their job. They're looking for things. See if you can get a little detached from this whole process. And I've developed sort of this is one of my tips that I think has served me really well. I feel if the stuff doesn't sell, then it's a good thing that I am getting rid of it, because it's either not seasonal, it's not current, it's not something. So I usually think, all right, good thing it's not in my closet if it's not even going to sell at a place like that. So I turn the whole thing around. And if it doesn't sell, sometimes I'm like, good, all right, glad I'm getting rid of it. And then I'll donate whatever doesn't sell. Another tip that I have is, because sometimes at these places, especially the ones that you're going to get cash in advance for, they take a little while to go through, and they might have a lineup of stuff because they're very popular. So you might have to wait for quite a while. Your clothes might be like third or fourth in line, and depending what you have, it might take quite a while. So normally you have to stay in the shop and shop around. Smart for them, you usually find something. But it can take kind of a long time, sometimes up to an hour. So my tips for this are either go in the very beginning when they first open, or like maybe a half an hour to 45 minutes before they close. Because then you can kind of get in and out. At closing time, they're hurrying, they're gonna kind of get you in the morning or the beginning of the day. Then it also is going to be where you're not waiting as long. So if you can at all, do either the beginning or close. If not, realize that you might have to wait a little while, and it might take a while, and just have some fun looking around in the shop. All right, so those are some of my tips. I hope that you find that helpful, but I encourage you to try it. It can be a lot of fun if you go with the right mindset and just enjoy the whole process. I am now going to go and take my things to Flashbacks. I'll kind of show you as much as I can of the process of that, and then talk to you a little bit about it after. I got to the buy counter and it was the middle of the day, and there were quite a few large buys ahead of mine. Those were my bags, and I knew it was going to take a little while, but that's okay. You can see she's meticulously going through these large bags of things that people bought in. But then here's my things. Finally, it came time for that, and it looked like they were doing pretty well. It's always a good sign when you see your things in the buy bin. There are some of my things there. Here's the final result. You can see that the store is going to sell my things for $201.60. I could have gotten about half of that, $100.80, if I would have taken trade value to use in the store, but I opted for the cash value of $60.48. Okay, well, there you have it. I think I did pretty well. I made a little bit of extra cash. I could have gotten credit in the store for a little bit more, but I'm doing a shopping moratorium, so we're not doing that. I hope that you learned something here and that you go and take your clothes and do some reselling with them. I would love to hear your tips. If you have any, please leave them in the comments below. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Have fun and dress it up a little.